Good
I
afternoon,
live.
buddy. Hi. Hi. So my cat, my Uber Eats order just came, and my cat thinks that there's food in here for him. And he's like, "Where's my food?" Because sometimes I get sushi that has tuna for him, but today is not a cat food order. Sorry, Astro. And he's mad. He's not happy. It's not personal. All right, I'll order you some food. I gotta order my cat some food. Good afternoon, everybody. The life of an everyday channel, right? This is what it comes down to. Um, Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's great to have you with us. What are we doing today
Clearing the clairs.
in the Clairs? Oh my God, this is so amazing. So we have a whole bunch of psychic gifts that are known as the Clairs: clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, to name a few. Those are the four that I focus on. And they have to do with a person's ability to see things from spirit that they don't see with their human eyes. So how many of you have the ability to see things from spirit without your human eyes?
I think it's mostly in my sleep or when I close my eyes. I don't know. I do see some things, but I'm not sure if that's really what I'm seeing when my eyes are actually open. So I know definitely when my eyes are closed, there are certain things that I see and I get.
So your eyes are closed, but you're awake, or your eyes are closed and you're asleep?
Well, sometimes it's like I'm relaxing or I'm going into sleep, but I'm not really asleep. And then I'll see.
You're going into an altered frequency.
Yeah. And so I see things. Sometimes it's like a cartoon, sometimes it's not, but sometimes I can only hold on to it for a little bit. There was something that flashed the other night and I was really trying to see it. And it's kind of I don't want to use the term weird, but it's like in my head, I'm like, wait. I need to see it. I need to see it. But that's just all in my head that I'm saying it, but then it'll go away.
Okay. Um, so it's a form of clairvoyance, is what you have. But because you involve your mind and you're like, wait, I have to see it, that's the ego comes in. And where
Mm-hmm.
all of this comes from is our connection to our higher selves that happens with our spiritual cord.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to chase it, it's almost like when something comes in and it just, like, you have a dream, you wake up with a memory of a dream, then it slides off the back of the head and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So when you just allow it to be, and like when you can relax into it, like as you said, when you're starting to fall into sleep,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
um okay. And clairvoyance happens through the ajna. We have an ajna, which is known as the third eye chakra, and then we actually have a chakra in the middle of the forehead. This is the pituitary, this is the pineal, and the one
Mm-hmm.
in the forehead is where we have clairaudience. So we hear messages from spirit. We
Yeah.
may hear them call our name. We may get messages from them. They may tell us things. How many
Mm-hmm.
have the sense of clairaudience?
Yeah. That has definitely happened.
Anybody else?
Me too.
Okay. Then there is claircognizance. And claircognizance is the crown chakra. And it's literally like a download of information where it just comes in and you know things. Anybody have
Mm.
that?
I do.
I have.
Okay. And then there is clairsentience. And clairsentience is like the empathy that you feel. And that's where you feel what another is feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's messages from spirit that come in through the heart. So what happened for me was I've always known things. Um, someone's dog died who was calling on the phone, things like that. But for me, the big opening of the Claire's happened when I started doing this training back in 1989, and I didn't even realize that's what was happening. Kind of like the Mr. Miyagi thing. Daniel-san looks like he's painting this way and wax on and wax off, and all of a sudden, he's a black, right? So we did all this clearing, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, these gifts are open. And then it's so sweet. So Veronica's here. Veronica's my best friend. I went to Israel in 2009. I laid my hands on a grave, had this mystical experience. Golden shaft of light comes down. The guy in the grave starts talking to me, and it opens up mediumship. I had no idea. So Veronica and I are at a house one night, and I'm like, there's somebody here. And she's like, what are you talking about? And it turned out to be Steve. And Steve is a gentleman, doctor that Veronica worked with, who was on vacation with his family in Mexico. And his son was being pulled under by the undertow. Steve went in, saved his son, and Steve ended up losing his own life. And all of a sudden, Steve starts talking to us. We're downstairs. This is when you guys lived up on the hill, remember? And it was so bizarre because he was giving me information that there's no way I could have known, right? And we were talking about, so Steve is on the other side. We were talking about the girl at the office. I think he called her Sam. And I was like, Veronica's like, I didn't know you could talk to the dead. I'm like, neither did I, So he had this whole message for us. Babe, I love that you're here. Like, I've told this story so many times, but the fact that you're here is just fucking precious. So that was 2009. So ever since then, they're pretty chatty. So I tell my sister, I'm like, this thing has happened. And I'm like, don't tell mom, but this thing has happened. And I have these, this thing where I'm talking to the dead now. And she tells her best friend, Jill, and Jill's father had recently passed. So Jill comes to me and she's like, I'd like to know if you could get a message for me from my dad. And the dad's like, tell her that I love her, tell her to take care of her mom. And then he's showing me giraffes. Like, he's showing me a ton of giraffes, wooden giraffes, metal giraffes, glass giraffes, pictures of giraffes. And I'm saying to Jill, your dad's like giving me this onslaught of giraffes. So I'm seeing the giraffes. I'm hearing the dad talk about the giraffes. And I say to Jill, your dad showed me the giraffes. And she's like, there aren't any giraffes. So she goes back to my sister and she's like, your sister's shit. Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm like, okay. Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was just because it was Veronica and how much I love her. But then Jill goes to her mom and goes, I asked Pam's sister Lynn, who's supposedly a medium, to ask about Daddy. And Daddy started showing her all these giraffes. And the mother goes, oh, that's because your father and I have a giraffe collection. She goes, what? She goes, yeah, it's in the curio cabinet. Jill opens this cabinet and there's like 50 giraffes, glass, metal, wood, all these giraffes, this and giraffes that. And she's like, I had no idea. She's like, oh yeah, every time you're done, I went on a trip, we collect giraffes. So she reaches back out to your sister and she's like, I may have spoken too soon, and I'm like, validated. So I'm like, okay, so now they show you images, right? And then there are times where, this was one of my favorite moments. I go to this meeting in 2017. There's a guy named Charlie Tedesco who's teaching about sacred geometry. And I'm like, I love sacred geometry. I want to go to this thing. And I walk in the room and I see Charlie and I blink because Charlie looks like he's wearing a golden Egyptian headdress. And I'm like, what the heck? But I blink and it goes away. And I'm like, well, that was weird. Like you just write shit off. You're like, well, that was bizarre. So I had given Charlie a gift bag that we give when people come as a guest to the sanctuary. And it has a sage bundle in it, and it has a piece of Palo Santo, and it has a little crystal in it, and a little pendulum, and this is the gift bag that we give people when they come to visit my sanctuary, right? So I give it to Charlie, and Charlie goes, thank you so much. This is like before the presentation. I said, I'm so excited. I'm all into sacred geometry. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. And Charlie starts to tell the story. I didn't mention anything about the Egyptian because I was like, I'm not going to do that, right? I'm still in hiding, right? Nobody can see me with my spiritual gifts. I mean, it's weird enough that I'm going to this place called Eyes of Learning, and it's all this spiritual woo-woo sacred stuff. And I'm not quite ready to tell people who I talk to or the things they have to say. So Charlie starts talking and he says, and there was one point where my best friend's father was dying, and I went to the hospital to say blessings over him. And the blessing that I said was, may his soul receive the highest salvation possible, given his good works this lifetime. And that prayer like went into me, like it was emblazoned on my soul. Like I memorized it word for word. And Charlie goes, you got that word for word. And I'm like, I know, right? Like it's a prayer that I had said over people before when I was an Egyptian, right? You catching the theme of this? So the father dies, and about 4 months later, the sister goes to a medium, and the medium says, your father's here, and he wants you to thank your brother for the priest that he had by his bedside when I died. And she calls her brother and she goes, we're Jewish. What priest did you have at the bedside? And he goes, I have a priest. I had Charlie. So he calls Charlie and he goes, why is my father saying you're a priest? And he goes, because I'm ordained in the order of Melchizedek. And I feel like the ceiling has crashed in on my head. And I have this sudden clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant moment, like everything all at once. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the order that Jesus was ordained into, the order of Melchizedek. And I get this information that says, because Jesus was of the bloodline of David and of the bloodline of Aaron, he was ordained here. And every priest that's ever been ordained, every Catholic Christian priest has been ordained into the order of Melchizedek. And I'm like, yeah, like that's a claircognizant download. Anybody have that? Like just a bunch of information comes in from spirit. So I go up to Charlie at the break, and I'm wearing this gorgeous Moldavite pendant that spirit has told me to wear that day. Because, you know, that's how I roll. They talk to me, wear this, and they're like, give Charlie your pendant. And I'm like, fuck you, I don't want to give Charlie my pendant, you know? They're like, give Charlie the Moldavite pendant. And I'm like, oh, I already gave him a gift bag. Third time, give Charlie the Moldavite pendant. I'm like, fine. So I'm taking this thing off my neck and I'm like walking up there, and I'm just full of mad. But I'm like, I got to find out about the order of Melchizedek. So I go up to Charlie and I go, Spirit wants me to give you this Moldavite. And he goes, I can't take that. And I go, listen to me. I don't want to give it to you. But Spirit said, I got to give it to you. So you have to take it. And he goes, oh, okay. And he hands me, oh my God, I think I have it hanging. He hands me this gorgeous Merkaba. Yeah, it's hanging over here. Look at this. He hands me this gorgeous Merkaba, and there's a crystal. So we're like crystal for crystal, right? He gets Moldavite and I get this. So I'm like, how did you get ordained in the order of Melchizedek? And he goes, there's this guy, and his name is Reverend Dan, and he comes down once a year and he ordains people, but he can't do it this year because the woman who usually hosts them doesn't have enough people. And I'm like, people, I can get people. So this is my certificate, my ordination into the order of Melchizedek. So I reach out to Reverend Dan and I'm like, Reverend Dan, my name's Lynn, and Charlie introduced me, and, you know, when are your next ordinations? And he goes, December. And you can understand, this is December of 2017. There were 8-foot snowdrifts. I say to my partner, James, going to Oneonta. I said, what? I said, we're going to go get ordained in the order of Melchizedek. And he was like, okay. So we rent a hotel. We're supposed to be up there. Class starts at noon, but it's 6 hours away. So I'm like, we'll go up, we'll stay the night before, you know, and then we'll get to the thing in time. As we're driving up to Reverend Dan's property, right as we hit the perimeter of like the wah, the energy of Reverend Dan, I burst into tears and I start crying. And James is like, why are you crying? I said, I have no idea. I walk into the place and I see Reverend Dan, and all I hear is the word Abba. And I'm like moved to tears. And Reverend Dan tells me later, he said, when I looked at you, I thought, oh, there she is. And I remember that he said to me, if you lived here, we'd be friends. So this is Reverend Dan, and he was just here for ordinations at my sanctuary with my Kabbalah teacher, Shalom, who came in from Israel to get ordained. Reverend Dan is in the orange, and that's Shalom, and that's me. So that was claircognizance. Claircognizance, so there's a spiritual cord that goes from your higher self down to you. There are actually 3 of them. And one is at the moment of inception, one is at about 7 months, and then one is when you're in the body for about 3 months. And that spiritual cord is how spirit communicates with you. Now, They would communicate with us all the time. But you know what we do? We go, oh, playing games on my iPad is more important. Being on my iPhone is more important. The drama with my family is more important. I don't need to meditate. I don't need to go into silence. Silence is what? Silence is golden, right? This is so funny. I actually got this same statue from my teacher, Shalom. So when he came to visit, I said, do you remember this? He goes, oh my God, is that my statue? I said, no, it's not your statue. It's another one that I found. I said, by the way, where is your statue that I gave you? And he goes, it's at the Kabbalah Center in Los Angeles. He now lives in Israel. So Spirit asks a couple things of us. They're like, hey, everybody, you need to calm down. You need to slow down. You need to close your eyes. You need to go within. You need to shut out the external world. And you need to come and have a conversation with us. Another name for higher self, also HS, Holy Spirit, right? Jesus goes, hey, everybody's got a passenger. Everybody's got a full guidance system. Besides that little toolkit that God gave you of clairsentience, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsentience, we've also given you guys a higher self. It's like the GPS. It's your spiritual GPS. And we're like, what about my drama? What about my drug addiction? What about my food addiction? What about my boyfriend, husband, father, mother, son, daughter, whatever this shit is, God who? Close your eyes, breathe, come into silence, and open your heart. And they're there with like the full recipe of everything that you promised God you were going to handle while you're here and how to make that happen. I have a masterclass coming up called God Writes the Paycheck, because I heard my mentor say that and I was like, oh my God, I've been struggling and efforting to try and make money. And all of a sudden I started having 6-figure months. I was like, what the hell? 6-figure sales and then 6-figure cash. I was like, what the hell? Because I was like, oh, Jesus, take the wheel. God, let me put you in charge, And I started listening. Clairaudience, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience. So if your clairsentience is shut down, you got to open your heart. If your claircognizance is shut down, you got to open your crown. If your clairvoyance is shut down, you got to open your ajna. If your clairaudience is shut down, you got to open your forehead chakra. This is a chakra they never told us about because it's too powerful. You hear the voice of God through the third eye. Okay. I'm going to do a little technique with you right now. You're going to measure your clairs. So everybody get a pen and paper. And I want you to write down the following. CV for clairvoyance. CA for clairaudience. CS for clairsentience. And CC for claircognizance. So clairvoyance is the one where you get messages where they send you images of what things look like. Okay. Tanya, I get images like as I'm about to fall asleep at night, they send me images of people and places and things and stuff like that,
Yes.
And what's happening is we're shifting into a different frequency. And as we shift into that other frequency, we're pulling ourselves out of this whole made up nonsense, that is our life. And they're showing us what else it is that we're creating with our minds, both conscious, unconscious, superconscious, subconscious, body, mind. We have 5 minds: conscious, subconscious, unconscious, superconscious, and body, mind. Body consciousness. We store memories. When your body gets stiff, you have a memory of a pain and it hardens in the body. There's a connective substance between the muscle and the bone. It's called fascia. And when we're young, it's really pliable. Like you can take a baby and twist them in a pretzel, they're so pliable. As we get older, it hardens. There's something in the back, it turns into arthritis in the body, scleroderma in really incredible cases. I was doing pranic healing on somebody and I was using crystals and I didn't know to put protection on my wrists. And I put my hand into the bowl where I'd clean the crystals. And the next day my hands were like this and so much pain because all the prana was in my hands. They told me to clean the chakra under the armpits. And then it all went away. We are made of light. Okay, I gotta take you on one more trip. I'm having so much fun with this today. So here's another field trip. This is my higher self, Sahaniel. This was painted by my beloved friend, Matanya, who has also painted my Jesus painting, my Magdalene painting, my Hathor painting. She painted Venus for me. She painted a few others for me. Anyway, all of this coming out of her is pure white light prana. Everything that you see her surrounding her in gold is her golden aura. We all have spiritual cords or auras, that are so big, depending upon how much spiritual work we're doing or not. Kind of like muscles, they atrophy if we're not using them. Okay, let's see. So, everybody close your eyes. Take a beautiful breath in through the nose. And then a nice relaxing exhale through the mouth. And just let everything go. Let yourself get present to where you are in time and space. Take another beautiful inhale in. And another nice relaxing exhale out. And just let go further. And let your consciousness start to drift down towards the heart. One more longer, slower, beautiful inhale in. And as you exhale and release, you get really centered and really grounded. Beautiful. Okay. Now go ahead and open your eyes. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And I just want you to write down the first answer that comes to you. Do not mind fuck yourself. Do not try to change the answer. Do not go, oh my God, that's too low. Oh my God, that's too high. Oh my God, that's impossible. Just write down the number. Deal? Everybody promise? Okay. On a scale of 0 to 1,000, at what level is your clairaudience? Your ability to receive messages auditorily from spirit. Just write down the first number that comes to you. Doesn't matter. Even if it's more than 1,000, doesn't matter. Just write it down. Okay, good. On a scale of 0 to 1,000, at what level is your clairvoyance? Your ability to see images from spirit. Some of you may be able to see ghosts with your eyes open, some with your eyes closed. Images that they send you, messages. Don't mess with it. Just write it down, whatever it is. Okay. Beautiful. Take another inhale in. On a scale of 0 to 1,000, at what level is your clairsentience, your ability to feel the presence of spirit? So that might be the room gets cold, they come and they brush you. That's always fun when no one's in the room and all of a sudden they're touching you. Anybody have that? Room gets cold, you just know that they're there, or there's poltergeist and they're like moving stuff. That happens too. And then finally, take another inhale in. On your exhale, at what level, from 0 to 1,000, claircognizance? You just know stuff. Just write the number down. So here's what happens. If a person is blind, like say Helen Keller was blind and mute, she couldn't speak, she couldn't see, she couldn't hear, right? But she developed these other incredible senses. Stephen Hawking, in a wheelchair, completely crippled, used the full power of his mind, one of the biggest geniuses that ever lived. Like sometimes one clair may be closed off and the other's like doing extra work, so the number may be higher than the other, but there's always one number that's lower. Okay. So my gorgeous assistant, Priyanka, like a magician with magician's assistant, right? Watch me pull the rabbit out of my hat. So Priyanka is fiercely psychic, and I refuse to lie about it anymore. I refuse to let her lie about it anymore. The very first class I ever put her in, my staff gets to come to my class. The very first class I put her in, her psychic abilities are like, whoa, wide open. And she goes, oh no. She closes them down. Pretends are not there. However, I witnessed her. I know. So here's the fun part with Priyanka. Priyanka has already been in conversation with spirit. And there's one of you that I'm going to walk through this process with, and she's going to tell us who that person is.
It's Tanya.
Tanya. Okay, beautiful. All right, Miss T.
Hey,
Hi, babe. So tell me your lowest number.
my lowest number is 333.
Okay, and which one was that?
Actually, it was two. It was clairvoyance and clairaudience.
Clairvoyance and clairaudience are both 333. And what were the other numbers?
507 and 703.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go into this like third eye region realm, forehead, third eye. So go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to take an inhale into the middle of your head. And as you go to exhale, I want you to imagine moving your consciousness back about 2 inches until you come right into the center of your head. There's this enormous cave there. It's known as the Cave of Brahman. And it's where your pineal and your pituitary glands are. It's where your clairvoyance and your clairaudience live. And there's something that's covering it up. There's something that's keeping it like locked up, like sealed up. Okay? Take another inhale in. On your exhale, I want you to tell me, what is the color of the energy that is blocking that center?
It's like a reddish orange.
Okay, beautiful. What shape is it?
Like an oval.
Thank you. Is it oval and flat, or oval and it has like a sphere, like it's got depth to it?
Just it's flat.
Like a shield.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. How big is it? Show me with your hands.
I don't know if I'm doing it right because my eyes are closed, but
You're perfect. You're perfect.
okay.
You have proprioception, you know. Okay, good.
Hmm.
What temperature is it?
It's not cold. It's warm. It's not hot, but it's more warm towards the hotter side.
Okay, beautiful. How much does it weigh?
Hmm. It's not heavy.
Okay, beautiful.
It's not heavy.
Okay. What material is it made of?
Oh. Hmm. It's more like the only way I can describe it is like a tin type of material.
Tin? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Does it have any movement to it?
Yes. It's like this.
Okay, okay, beautiful. And my love, I want you to tell me, what is its purpose? Why is it there?
I think protection.
Okay, awesome. You're doing great. Take another inhale in. What are the feelings and emotions that are trapped inside of it?
Fear.
Okay. I want you to take an
Mm.
inhale, and I want you to just let yourself feel the fear. So this was put here to protect you. There was something that you experienced that caused some fear, and the fear wasn't completely felt. Have you guys ever heard the term, you girls ever heard the term, feel it to heal it?
Mm.
When you allow yourself to feel something, when you bring God's breath, which is how we allow ourselves to feel things, when you bring God's breath to something, you can return the energy to him. It's this really funny thing that happens with humans. A feeling or emotion comes in and we go, oh my God, I don't want to feel that. And we put up resistance and we actually cause the persistence of it. Good. Breathe through it, baby. Just breathe right through it. Priyanka, we need to put a warning. Please bring tissues to all of my master classes, okay? Oh, sweet girl. I love you. I'm here with you, baby. Breathe right through it. Oh, gorgeous. Breathe right through it, my love. Ooh. Huh. Look, if we were psychics in our life and we saw stuff and we heard stuff, think of Joan of Arc. She leads France to that incredible success. And afterwards they go, great job, Joan. Now we got to burn you at the stake. Because of the things you heard and the things that you saw. She's like, you know what? Screw that. I'm not doing that again. And we close down these gifts and abilities. And Tanya has these in spades. And she had to shut them down because something happened. And this emotion is part of what's kept this thing locked up. Does that make sense? Can you feel it, baby?
Yes.
Oh, gorgeous. You're doing so well, my love. So, so well. Ooh. Yeah. Take another breath in. Breathe right into it. Just breathe right into it. When we breathe, I got to tell you this gorgeous story. It literally makes me cry every time. There's a beautiful book called The Secret Life of Yeshua. And in it, he's about 4 years old and he meets a bumblebee and he puts his finger out and the bumblebee comes on his finger. And the bumblebee says, listen, look. And he says, you're like me. You harvest the sunlight. Bumblebee recognized Yeshua at 4 years old. You harvest the sunlight. This is all we're meant to do. We're meant to harvest God's light. God is the sun. We are sunbeams to the sun. Literally like the light that's coming off of Sahaniel in that painting, you know? All we're ever meant to do is feel things, and we get scared because it comes too quickly or comes too big or whatever. Or we make these decisions and we're like, well, that hurt. I'm never going to do that again. And we close it down. And what Tanya is experiencing right now is the opening back up of her gifts and abilities. We are God's breath. We literally, that's all we do. We harvest the sun. We harvest God's light. That's all we're meant to do. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh.
Yes.
Sweetheart, you're doing fantastic. I'm just telling stories so you can get through the emotions. Just, Take another inhale in. Exhale. Breathe into it. Every time we breathe into this, every time that we release like this, God's on the other side going, thank you, because he gets his life force back. You know, like we've just been greedy and we've been holding on to it. And we're like we don't realize that the whole thing is for us to experience it, to let it move through us. It comes and we go, oh no, I can't experience that. And God goes, uh-oh, clean up on aisle 7, you know, like we missed the point. So this beautiful, simple process is just for you to experience your own light and harvest it and return it to God. We are harvesters of sunlight, of God's light. That bee taught Jesus, and Jesus is like, yeah, that's what we're here to do. And we forget. Priyanka, will you please write down the title, Harvesting the Light?
Yes.
Yeshua's like, we got to do something with that. That story, a bee. Oh, you're like me. You harvest the sunlight. You know, that's what trees do. Trees harvest. We're basically trees. We're basically big walking around plants. We're made of the same thing they are. Have you ever seen the picture of lungs and then the leaf of a tree? We're trees. It's like that, one of those Lord of the Rings trees with the big ents, those big trees come at the end of the movie. Tanya knows what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Oh, sweet girl. What a beautiful release.
Yes. Absolutely.
This is just one emotion, but wait, there's more. I want to thank you all for being here with your gorgeous hearts. This is my life's work. This is what I live for. I always have this thought a few minutes before a masterclass. Should I cancel this? Should I just like call in sick today? I'm really tired. I want to eat. My food's here. I got to feed my cat. I got to go to my aunt's. All that not. Jesus is like, shut the fuck up. Go to your class. By the way, those of you that are like, I want to talk to Jesus. No, you don't. I want to channel Jesus. No, you don't. It's like, the Catholics and the Mormons are like, come join our religion. And you go to the Jews and you're like, I want to be a Jew. And they're like, no, you don't. Like, seriously, you know? Okay. Baby, take another inhale in. Oh, huge release. Can you guys feel the release in her? Tanya, so gorgeous. Oof. Good choice, Priyanka. Magdalene chose her, by the way. Okay. My love, what other feelings and emotions are trapped inside of it? Breathe back into the third eye, the forehead. Go back to the cave of Brahman. It's not orange anymore. What color is it now? Change color.
No, it's like it's real small and
Yeah.
it's blinking.
Yeah. Okay. So, baby, go back into it and tell me what other feelings and emotions are trapped inside of it.
Hmm. Hmm. Quiet.
Love that. So, I want to point out something. When we freeze an emotion, sometimes positive emotions get caught in there. Okay. So, what sat on the other side of this baby is quiet, is that sense of peace. You know, that sense of peace you feel right now?
Mm-hmm.
Try to get to. You have it because you walked through it. You breathed through it. You trusted. And God literally, she comes up to us and she just hugs us and she says, welcome home. Actually, it's the goddess, She's like, welcome home, beloved. Isn't this all we ever wanted?
Yes.
Beautiful. Any other feelings or emotions that are stuck inside of it, my love?
Moving forward.
A fear of moving forward?
Not a fear of moving forward, but a wanting to move forward.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Well, here's the good news. There's so many beings that walk with you. If you
Mhm.
all of them, and they're like, let's fucking go. That's it. LFG. Let's fucking go. Okay.
Yes.
I love that. So, baby, take a beautiful inhale in, and I want you to wrap that whole little like shield with a field of love. Just imagine putting God's golden light all the way around it, golden prana. Just breathe golden light all the way around it. So it's completely surrounded with love. Oof. Gorgeous. Take another inhale in. And then on your exhale, very gently, very easily, I want you to glide the shield out of your third eye, out of the middle of your head, glide it out of the body until it goes about 3 feet in front of you. It's going to be so easy to do. It's no longer stuck in there because you let yourself feel the emotion that was keeping it lodged. understand that emotion is energy in motion, right? Emotion. So when we don't let ourselves feel something, it begins to harden and it begins to petrify, you know? And when you breathe into it, it literally brings life to it. And when you let yourself feel the emotion, the whole thing releases. Okay. Did you move it all the way out?
Still blinking. But yes, it's moved out. It's
Okay.
moved out.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Take another inhale in. And on your exhale, turn it white. When you turn it white, it comes from your heart. You've just duplicated it. And the energy goes right back to God. Duplication causes erasure in physics. So when we allow ourselves to feel the thing that we have not allowed ourselves to feel, the whole thing undoes. The petrification, it just melts and it just becomes pure energy. And then when we surround it with love and when we turn it white and we send it back to God, notice, okay, this is going to be a trip. I want you to invite one of the fairies to borrow her fairy wand. And you're going to tap on that middle of the forehead, third eye area, and fairy dust, which is golden prana. No, you notice how each fairy has a different color? Every time we've seen a depiction of fairies, there's like the blue fairy and the yellow fairy. They're different colors of prana. They're different colors. So ask the fairy to borrow a fairy wand. You're going to, and Tinkerbell's was golden because it's Tinkerbell, right? You're going to tap that area. And what happens is the fairy dust, the prana goes in and it cleans out where all of that dark and stuck and trapped and congested and dirty energy was. And you've just given it all back. Whew. All right. Wait till you see what happens next. You good, Mama?
I'm good.
So go ahead and open your eyes. All right. So here's the really fucking fun part. This is my favorite part. You ready for this? Okay. Get your pen and paper out because we're going to do this again, and this is going to blow your mind.
Mhm.
Jesus says, at some point you're going to need to stop cursing, and I'm but not today. Take an inhale in. On a scale of 0 to 10,000, at what level is your clairvoyance? Just write down the number that comes. Don't second guess it. Don't question it. Nothing. On a scale of 0 to 10,000, at what level is your clairaudience? Just write it down. Don't even, just write that number down. Beautiful. On a scale of 0 to 10,000, at what level is your clairsentience? Beautiful. On a scale of 0 to 10,000, at what level is your claircognizance? Now, baby, I want you to tell me what was the number before and what's the number now. You go through the
The number before was 333. The number now is 7778. 333 on the other one, which is clairaudience. It's 8833. Clairsentience.
breathe. I know. It's so emotional. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Was 507.
And now?
And it's 9977.
Yeah.
And the last one was 703. It's now 9888.
God bless you.
Bless you.
And this is why I show up. This is why you guys show up. So, because look, my love, with you having numbers that big and that open, it's just going to take a little bit more. And next time we'll measure you and we'll go on the scale of 0 to 100,000, and then someday it's going to be at the 0 to 1,000,000. And you're going to bump up against that because you were just willing to open up to spirit again.
Yes.
Am I the only one crying? Like, come on. We can't be the only two crying. Congratulations, baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are so welcome. Mm-mm-mm. So this is the sales portion of the conversation. There's a class that's coming up at the end of this month. It's called Pranic Healing. I've done 10 classes in this world in the past 10 weeks. 3 of the classes I took a second time, and I'm about to take them for a third time because the woman who taught me is coming here. Classes are available online and classes are available in person. If you guys want to come to New York, come to my home. I would love you. If you want to do it online. So Priyanka and I and my team, we set up a feature on my website. The class is only $500. This is how Jesus healed. This is how we heal, through the use of light. There are payment plans that are available through Klarna and Affirm. I would go to the bank and get a credit card. People don't even go to the bank anymore. I would get a credit card, and I would just get a fucking credit card and just do this, because there's 3 classes coming. Basic prana is at the end of the month. And then the first weekend of October, she's coming back again, and she's doing advanced in psychotherapy. You learn how to use color prana. You learn how to use electric violet. I go to dinner with my girlfriends the other night. I haven't seen them in years. They used to be students of mine, and one of them moved to Florida, and I got magical stories with her, and Cookie's another one. So Cookie and Debbie, so we're sitting at dinner, and I'm like, what's new? And Debbie goes, well, I had a knee replacement, and I can feel the energy. Her knee's like, wah, wah, throbbing. And I go, hey, can I have your permission to do a little healing? She goes, sure. So I invoke a green flame, which is what you can do if you don't have a bowl of salt water. I'm sitting in the restaurant. One's on my right, one's on my left. I invoke a green flame. I put my hand on my heart and I go, sweep, 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 sweep. Click, put it in the green flame. I do this like 8 times and I go, move your knee. I lower the green flame to the ground. She goes, what did you just do? I don't have any more pain in my knee. I said, I just removed the congested prana. She's like, oh my God. Cookie goes, hey, what about my TMJ? Like, I direct the green flame and I go, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do about 7 of those on her jaw minor chakra on the right. I go, how is that? And she goes, we'll know after we eat. So the food comes, we eat. And after dinner, I go, Cookie, how's your jaw? And she goes, oh my God, there's no pain. Literally, oh my God, there's no pain are the 6 happiest words you ever want to hear from somebody when you're doing energy work, right? They're like, what did you do? You know, after the healing, you clear your hands off. You can either use a spray. This is called the Shibungi spray. Shibungis are like little crispy critters that attach themselves to us to get in the way of us having. Listen, when Jesus healed Magdalene, in the story, they talk about how he removed how many demons from her? 7. You know what he did? He cleared out her 7 chakras.
Wow.
So he says about her, oh, she's right here. Hi.
Hi.
He says, she went from being my greatest student to becoming my greatest teacher. And she is the single greatest embodiment of what it is to be a Christed being. Yeshua says that about Magdalene, you know? So I said to her, how did that happen? And she said, he cleared out my chakras. This stuff clears out the chakras. This is what you learn. So all 3 classes are $1,700. If you buy the 3 together, it's like $1,555. There's payment plans available. Get a credit card, sell anything except your cat, maybe your children, put up like medical experiments, like whatever you have to do. But I'm telling you, you got to move heaven and earth to come do this stuff, because it's all I'm talking about. I'm completely obsessed. Yes, I do other things and there are retreats and all that, but I'm telling you, there's even crystals involved. Like, it's all right. I'm going to tell you one last thing. Are we recording like publicly? Okay. What the fuck? So there's a point in one of the advanced classes where he's talking about phobias and traumas and addictions and compulsions. And I'm like, I'm not saying a thing, because I got a few of those, but I'm like, I'm reviewing. I'm just going to sit here quietly. And he goes, does anybody have any phobias? And one person's like, claustrophobia, and he works with that person. heals them of the claustrophobia. He's a medical doctor. His name is Master Glenn, and he's one of 14 people that were certified by Master Choa Koksui, who created this whole thing, who, by the way, was a reincarnation of who? Yeshua ben Joseph. So Jesus comes in as Master Choa. At 5 years old, he starts studying Buddhism, Tibet, Hinduism, Christianity, Kabbalah, puts together this whole healing thing. And Jesus goes, this is how we healed. Where are the pictures? I don't know if you guys have ever seen the pictures that I have of Jesus, but the woman who painted the picture, the same one who painted my higher self, she painted Jesus, and she goes, I have to leave the painting and I have to come back to it. I thought I had cards around here. Anyway, in the painting, there's white light coming out of his hands. And I'm like, that. And he goes, it's the prana. It's how we heal. So if anyone is interested in learning how to heal like Jesus did, come do this class. Anyway, can't find it. Oh, well. Wonder if the cat's eating it. Just kidding. Cat hasn't eaten that. So, and in this painting of Magdalene that's on the cover of my book, in her hand, that's golden prana.
Yes.
That's what comes out of the fairy ones. So now I'm like, my entire life makes sense. I get it. I thought I was done at 31 certificates, and now I have like 37. I don't care. There are 21 classes. Jesus said it's going to take you 7 years to master this. And I said, I don't have anything else to do. I'm
You're
here.
right.
I'm here for 9 more. I turned 63 in a couple weeks. And then I'm here till 72. And then I'm out. So you guys have 9 more years of me. Thank you. You're welcome. So it's on the website. Move heaven and earth. Come be in this class. The first 3 classes, basic, advanced, and psychotherapy, you can do online. And the only class that I say you have to do in person is the crystal class, but that's a ways away. Those are only taught by the masters. But that's where you use crystals and you program the crystals and you count crystals, and crystals come and they take stuff out of you. And that was mind blowing. So in this class, Master Glenn goes, anybody have any traumas? And all of a sudden Jesus goes, and I raised my hand and Master Glenn goes, what are your traumas? And I look around the room and I take a deep breath and I go, this is a trigger warning. And I said, I've been raped 4 times this lifetime. And Master Glenn goes, come on up. And I'm like going, Jesus, this was such a bad idea. And I can feel that there are other women in the room that have had the same trauma, and to anyone who's gone through this, anyone who's ever been touched inappropriately, molested, anything, like I just went up to do the work for all of us. So he starts doing his little magic hand waving energy work. And he looks around the room and he goes, okay, we're all adults here. And Jesus goes, spread your legs. I'm wearing pants. So I'm like, okay. And literally Master Glenn comes and he starts pulling things out from between my legs. And he goes, I need to pull some energy out of her vagina. And literally, it's literally like a magician who's pulling scarves out of a hat. And then all of a sudden he's like, here's a bouquet of flowers. I literally feel this final thing he pulls out. And it's like, I hear the psychic. And Dawn, who's the teacher that's coming here to teach at my sanctuary, Dawn's in the back of the room. And Dawn said, Lynn, at that point, I literally heard a voice. She didn't know it was Yeshua. And it said, 100% of it was removed. Afterwards, I'm just like stunned because I'm so present. This is what's available in this training. And there's just 5 of the healing programs. And then there's like 12 of the spiritual programs. And they're teaching stuff that is like in the highest echelons of Kabbalah and Buddhism and Hinduism and even Christianity. Like they don't teach the lay people. They don't even, like, it's very select. And Jesus brought it all back in this body of work. So if you feel drawn, Jesus is going to kick your ass. He'll raise your hand. He'll push you forth. He'll wake you up. But if you're here, you're going to hear about it because this is all I talk about now. So find a way, pawn your jewelry. I don't care, whatever it takes. Sell your plants, you know, grow marijuana, sell marijuana cookies, make gummies. I have a girlfriend, best friend from childhood, and she's like, I sell gummies now. And my neighbor has 85 acres of marijuana. I'm like, what? What? She's like, yeah. And I do this and I do that. And I make cookies for people. And I'm like, oh my God. I ate two tiny little chocolate chip cookies years ago at my girlfriend's house. And I was on her couch for 18 hours. I had no idea. Anyway, whatever you have to do, move heaven and earth, come be in these classes because it'll blow your mind. I can't wait to share more of this with all of you. Tanya, thank you for today. I love you, baby. I love you.
Thank you. I love you.
God. I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Yes. Yes. I'm so looking forward to it. And I already know, there was a time where the negative would run in and say what you can't do, but that's no longer, because he always provides, always.
Listen, the next masterclass I'm teaching this month called God Writes the Paycheck. My mentor,
Yes.
who's made $85 million in 7 years, I made about $1 million. She's made 85 million.
Mhm.
She said, and when the money comes, and it will come, and it was like my whole body went, and I was like,
Mhm.
and then she said, because God writes the paycheck. And I was like,
Yes.
she goes, Jesus is like, what have I been telling you? Have
Yeah.
you been listening? And all of a sudden it was
Yeah.
like, you can't make the chronic class. Will it be offered again? Absolutely. In fact, she's doing one this weekend, Terry, online. She's doing one this weekend.
Yeah,
Talk.
yeah.
You can't? Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah, sorry.
Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 6. All right. Well, there'll be other ones. And listen, it's offered in 96 countries. So if you can't find it through Dawn and Master Glenn and Master Marlog, there's a guy named Master Co out of California, and they teach, if you're willing, Spirit's going to find a way,
Okay,
Mhm.
promise you that. I promise you that.
thank you.
So thank you all so much for being here. I love you.
Thank you.
Shabbat.
Love you.
And just thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be of service. Thank you for allowing me to keep my promise to God, because I promised God that this is what I would do with my life.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Can I say this before we go off?
Babe.
I wanted to say that I saw the website and it's beautiful. I love it. It's absolutely wonderful. So whoever did it, I could tell because that's some of what I do in graphic design and things like that. It's beautiful.
Wait,
And I was so glad to see it.
do we have a new website?
Well, when I clicked on what I clicked on this, all the classes came up, the free events came up, everything came up with the times and everything. It was beautiful.
Did Kat put up the new website?
Not yet, not yet. She's
All I know is what I went to and
Yeah.
what I clicked on this,
Okay.
and I had never seen it before, so it was beautiful. That's all I can say. So I don't know if that's the old or if it's the new, but whatever it was,
Was it this one?
it was great. Let me see. Um, I don't think it was that one.
Was it?
I have to go back to it. Um,
Let me know what you logged into, because I love
okay.
that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Everything was lined up. Everything, it was like the tiles, like there was a tile for this particular class, that class, this class,
the events.
that class.
So
Yeah,
if you
and it
go
was all lined up, and you could click on it and it would give you more information. It was great.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I have an incredible team.
yeah.
Bianca is my chief operations officer. Chintana, do you have a question, baby? No, you're just saying goodbye? Okay. No, go. No, we've been over an hour. Sorry, I'm feeling chatty
Oh.
today. All right. Very happy. Anyway, look, if I can be of service to you, please reach out. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on, what's the other one? YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Anyway, If you can't find me, you're not hard enough. I swear to God, I'm everywhere. Is that Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok,
Podcasts.
podcast? Well, podcasts are on YouTube. I guess there's just those 4. Anyway. Oh, I'm on LinkedIn. About 25,000 people follow me now. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun.
That's good.
Good. It's just one person at a time. I help the person that's in front of me, you know?
Yeah. Thank
Anyway,
you too, Priyanka. You all have a wonderful weekend.
Thank
thank
you.
you, my love. Well, now I want to see what she's talking about the pretty website. And by the way, Veronica is one of the people. She's a member of the Halls of the Goddess.
She
And-
does not.
Oh, that's okay. The Halls of the Goddess, we're doing retreats around the world. Yes.
That sounds good.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, that's what I saw.
oh, I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very blessed with the people that I have in my world. Believe me, I have a chief marketing officer. I have a chief COO, chief operations officer. That's Priyanka. We call Priyanka the staff whisperer because whatever people tell me, they spill their guts with her. It's very interesting. Like I'm not user friendly, for fuck's sake. and, and then I have